Like you said, there's a lot we don't know right now. I mean, the anecdotal initial signs are suggesting that it can spread very quickly, but it may not be as serious. So the question is, what measures will policymakers in the region take if there is an outbreak? And again, if we're being, relatively safe with our forecasting, we're probably going to assume that there will be disruptions on the virus front. Now, I think it's very interesting over the last few months as, policymakers across the region started to signal a more flexibility with COVID. We think that that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to ever impose restrictions again. But when they do reimpose restrictions, it's not going to be the same types of blanket lockdowns that we saw in places like Malaysia, in the Philippines, and even in Thailand, right? They're going to be much more targeted restrictions. And I think, simply put, there's been a shift in political preferences. I don't think populations necessarily want to see those same level of intense restrictions. So there probably will be further disruptions. That's why we've been relatively cautious in our growth forecast for domestic demand, but they're not going to derail the economic recoveries like they did earlier in 2021.
Joseph, what's in store for the home team over here in Singapore? Growth prospects, they're looking more constructive, are they, in 2022 now that the travel lanes have opened and the domestic restrictions are being eased back?
No, they do. I mean, Singapore is the one economy where throughout 2021, we did not revise down our forecast. If anything, we had to revise up at the very end of the year, despite already being at 6.5%. And that's just a testament to the broad-based nature of the Singapore growth story. We've seen incredibly strong investment commitments. Of course, as a biomedical and semiconductor hub, exports have been doing extremely well, despite some recent slowdown. And yes, the domestic demand recovery hasn't been as straightforward as we would have liked. Of course, we know that Singapore has gone through multiple waves, but by and large, the recipe is the ingredients are still there for a sustained recovery. So Singapore still looks quite good. We think growth can easily be in the high 3% next year. Simply put, it's one of the stronger economies in the region coming out of COVID.